Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our virtual town hall meeting. Of course, I'm Cheryl Jackson, and I'm excited about being here tonight with listen, I can't even talk. FSC First is our guest, and this is not our first virtual town hall. So, Dawn, welcome back.
Hello there. Thank you for having us back.
Now, it's about girl power for me. And I love, love, love this girl connection that we have. So, our virtual town hall meeting tonight is celebrating women, entrepreneurship, growth, and prosperity. And, during the pandemic, we talked often to FSC First and all of the things that FSC First is doing in our community to empower us to give us financial literacy, to grow us. Well, today we want to celebrate some women entrepreneurs in this state that FSC First is assisting and helping and have major testimony so we could share. And I'm really, really excited about tonight, celebrating women, entrepreneurship, growth, and prosperity. So let's introduce our panel. Of course, I just spoke to Dawn Medley. She is the CEO of FSC First. Dawn, thank you again for having the virtual town hall tonight.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good evening, everyone. Glad to be back.
Awesome. We also have the owner of Vent Suite Massage and Spa, a level up participant, Taji Kelly. How are you, Taji?
Hello, everybody. Peace and blessings.
I can't wait to find out what you have to offer because, honey, I love me a good spa. Can I tell you? Love me a good spa. All right. Toya Evans, business leader, also consultant and multi-unit, multi-brand franchise owner. And she's with us on our panel today. Toya, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited to have you. Thank you. Tisa Clark is the founder and CEO of the JD Clark Companies. She's a level up consultant and she's with us today. Hi, Tisa.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Kathryn Clay, Senior Vice President of PNC Bank, PNC Bank Foundation, Capital Matters Funder. How are you, Kathryn?
I am well. I am so thrilled to be here and to have an opportunity to talk about and hear about FSC programs and my involvement, which has been a number of years.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So you're an expert at this and you're going to give us all of the great information we need to be a part. I love it. So listen, to all of you who are watching via YouTube, who are watching via Facebook, for every one of my Praise Power crew members, everybody that's watching from Praise 104.1, everybody's watching on Magic, everybody's watching on all of our virtual platforms. I want you to like and share. Like and share, because this is going to be a wealth of information that's shared tonight, right? So we want to make sure we get as many people as possible. Also, if you have questions, I want to see who you are, want to see who's on the line. So make sure you identify yourself so I can love on you a little bit as we go through our virtual town hall tonight. Also, we just really want to make sure that you're engaging. So if you have any questions or comments, we want to see those questions and comments as well on all of the digital platforms. So welcome, like and share. Tell everybody your girl Cheryl is here, and we're here with FSC First. So we're going to jump right in, Dawn. And can you provide an overview of FSC First and its mission in supporting small and minority-owned businesses?
Absolutely. FSC is 46 years old. So since 1978, we have proudly been providing innovative financing solutions to grow established and emerging businesses throughout Prince George's County and the state of Maryland. We're passionate advocates for entrepreneurship, and we like to build relationships and help generate millions of dollars in loan funds that get passed on to small and minority businesses, to the businesses that are underrepresented or maybe underbanked or they're pre-bankable. And as a result, hundreds of jobs are also added to the community. Many of our offerings are loan products and grants focus on supporting and uplifting minority-owned businesses and especially women-owned businesses to ensure that everyone is getting equal access to financing opportunities. We've got two big badges we wear. One is CDC, we're a CDC, and one is we're a CDFI. And that just means we're certified by U.S. Treasury and the U.S. Small Business Administration to get these dollars to the businesses who really need it. And we do that by having over 14 loan products, 14 now,
Wow.
that provide programming and that we're fund managers for the state, for the county, Prince George's County, for local municipalities and corporate funders. And we're even in the green energy space, believe it or not. So we do a lot.
Mm-hmm. You know, when we first had our first virtual town hall meeting about FSC First, I was just blown away because I didn't know that you existed. And so these town halls are very, very important for small businesses, for minority businesses, that there is some assistance. And FSC First, as you talked about it, is a bank, you know, of sorts, if you will, for small businesses. So research suggests that access to capital is a significant barrier for women entrepreneurs. And that is the truth. I mean, businesses at large, right? We may have an idea, but how do we get funded? How do we get money? How do we get started? So how does FSC First provide greater access to funding and investment opportunities for women-led businesses?
Well, one thing about women-led businesses is sometimes there are some significant barriers for women entrepreneurs. And, there's a lot of research out there about this topic. And that research is very telling because on average, female business owners ask for less funding. Even when they ask for funding, they ask for less, typically $35,000 less than their male counterparts. And women business owners have to make more attempts, multiple attempts to secure that same financing that their male counterparts do to get lines of credit for their businesses. And 40% of women business owners applying for loans never succeed, Cheryl. They never get the funding. And the thing, and when they do get the funding, guess how much of a percentage commercial loans that women get? Out of all the loans made, 4%.
4%?
Of all
I was going to at least give them 30. I was going to at least say 30%.
4% of all
4%?
Commercial loan dollars. And so FSC, we're not a traditional lender. You mentioned the word bank, and we are not a bank. We're a non-bank.
You're not a bank, financial.
We're a nonprofit, non-bank bank.
A non-bank bank.
And we operate in many ways similar to a bank, only that we're going to look at the same things that a bank would ask you for, right? But we're going to layer in some technical assistance to get those things looking right so that a real bank like Kathryn looks at you. We grow you up to be able to get financing from great institutions like PNC Bank. We get you all squeaky clean. So when Kathryn sees you, you're now bankable. Right?
Got you. Okay. I understand. That's really clear. For those who are watching, if you are an entrepreneur, if you know a female entrepreneur, tonight is for her. So go and tell them to tune in now to get this great information. All right, let's go to Kathryn, Senior VP of PNC Bank. Can you share some highlights of your involvement with FSC First?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I have been involved with FSC for quite some time. I'm going to say since around 96, 98. I think I was 2 years old when I started being involved.
Right. Me too, girl.
But anyway, Dawn has touched on it a little bit in that with CDFIs, they typically work in areas and with constituents that have historically had challenges accessing capital. And the way we've worked with FSC and the way I've worked with FSC is one of the products that they had until recently was a small business cash flow loan pool. And that loan pool at at the end, Dawn had about 12 or 15 participating banks.
Yes, 11. Yeah.
11. Okay, had 11 participating banks. And this is the way we meet the needs of those underserved, because banks in general are highly regulated, and we're lending depositors money, so we can't take risk. Banks can't take risk, or risk that the regulators think is not reasonable. So the way we get money out there is we work with CDFIs like FSC First. Through the predecessor, I will say we were one of the inaugural banks that participated in the loan pool. So that's something of which I'm proud. And Dawn, if you don't mind my saying, I'm also proud of the fact that after about 30 years of the pool? How long was the pool?
A little over 25.
Yeah, it was over 25 years of the pool being in existence, putting dollars out there in the community, having a great performance and everything like that. As things happen and change happens, the SBA rules around the guarantee changed, and which meant the structure of the pool had to change. And it created some challenges. And so I'm happy to say out of the 11 participating banks, PNC was willing to take out the balance of the pool. And what that did was left funds available for FSC to do the great work. Because if they had to use their funds to pay out the pool balance, which was for FSC significant, that would have had an impact on their ability to do business. So, you know, I'm proud to have been able to be a part of that. And
Kathryn turns around, you'll see her shiro cape.
Right.
But the other thing, in terms of my involvement with FSC First, and since it's Women's History Month, I have a little known historical fact for you guys in the audience.
Okay.
And that is after, let's see, I think FSC was started in 78.
Yes.
Was started in 78. So in 2016 through 2018, let's see, that's about what, I can't do the math, 50 plus years. Let me just say that I became the first woman board chair for FSC First.
Wow, come on. I love that. I love that.
Just a little
After 50 plus years, it's time, huh?
It's absolutely time. And
Yes.
we've had another one, or let me say I'm not even on the board anymore, but it's community.
Yes.
But you know, there's been another since, and but it was a great experience for me. And Dawn was on board at the time, so you know, I've had a lot of experience with Dawn and the organization. I love it. I love.
So that literally shows the involvement in community and the involvement of commitment that FSC First has for women of color. I like it. I want to talk to some of the owners and some of those who have benefited from FSC First. So let's start with Taji Kelly. She's the owner of Vent Sweet Massage and Spa. Can you share with us how Vent Sweet Massage and Spa has been impacted by FSC First, and specifically programs and resources that they've provided for you?
Absolutely. So hello again, everybody. I love the word benefit, but I also love benefiting because this is ongoing.
Ongoing.
Yes, this is very ongoing. I may be actually one of the babies to FSC. I became a part of FSC in October of last year. And when I tell you, I am so grateful and I'm so thankful that I came across them, because much like yourself, Cheryl, I didn't know about FSC. And our business is Laurel, we're right in Laurel. So we're right here in this area. And I didn't know about this until a family member kind of, shared this information. And literally at the time when we came to FSC, it was during a time where I was beat up. Okay. I was beat up. I was tired. I was confused. I was lost.
Like almost done, right?
Maybe it was a lot. So, and it was one of those moments where I was kind of feeling like I'm not a quitter. So I knew I wouldn't quit, but it was one of those moments where I was feeling like nobody can understand my situation, where I am, what I'm experiencing. And then to come across FSC and then to be able to sit in one of those rooms, which I was a part of the program called Level Up. And that's what I'm still a part of, Level Up program, to sit in the room with so many people who just like lay out all of these things that you're going through. And then you thought you was literally the only one.
Right.
And for them to be able to like break it down, like you got to do this and you got to do that. And, here's how, not just you got to do it, but here's how, start here and start here. But then to, hear multiple people who have those exact same issues. So you feel like you're not alone. And then you feel like you have now a family and a community. I was under an amazing guy. Will Holmes is the guy who did my first program when I got to FSC. And I mean, just like caught me up like I was just like a little baby. I was like, thank you. Yeah. I need all of this help. Like, so I would definitely say like the program came right on time, and the way that I am benefiting is just being able to, lean on these guys for information. And one of the things for a small business owner and, and a woman business owner, it's like, we have gifts, we have talents, we have these, these gifts that God give us, but we don't always know how to
execute them. Yeah.
Exactly. We don't know how to execute the gifts that we're given, and if we don't come from people who understand finances, and if we don't come from places that teaches us about banking and teaches us about a profit and a loss or expense sheet, or if we don't know anything about that, then we're kind of going out here blindsided, and so we're kind of just winging it. And literally, I'm going to be honest, that's what I was doing. I was winging it. But then to come across this program and to have them kind of like break some things down and put it in perspective for me, it's kind of like, wow, it's something that I really honestly needed. And then it taught me the beauty of understanding like patience, and then, starting from, square one, and then kind of working your way up until you get to that ultimate goal that you're trying to get to, which for us as business owners, funding and, there's, these great relationships and, and being able to then come back and share that information with other people. So love it. I'm loving benefiting from FSC. I thank you guys so much, Dawn, for, what you guys are doing. And, I'm an advocate. I'll be here.
I love it. I love these comments. Thank you. Everybody's saying it's such a great wealth of information. Thank you for your time and expertise. Thank you, Marian. Thank you. Thank you, Chima. Thank you, Dallas Lights. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being there. Thank you for sharing. All right. So you heard Taji talk about Level Up, the Level Up program, and that's what this town hall meeting is all about. So I want to talk with Tisa Clark, who's the founder and CEO of the J.D. Clark Companies. She's a consultant for Level Up. As a consultant, what services do you work with, businesses on?
So our support with Level Up, and particularly FSC First, is twofold. So those that are looking to come and get capital from FSC First, we assist with the loan packaging. So one of the challenges that we have in underserved community is that our foundational documents aren't in place. So we saw that during the PPP time and the idle time, and a lot of us did not take advantage or couldn't take advantage of some of the stimulus packaging that was available. So one of the roles that I play for FSC First are those businesses that are looking for capital and they need some help and hand holding and gathering that loan package. So pulling together their organizational documents, pulling together their taxes and things of that nature so that they are able to apply officially to access capital. And then with the Level Up program, I'm one of their business coaches and trainers and focusing on helping businesses develop their strategy and their long-term planning, either with a third-party tool or just in general. And sometimes going back to basics of why are you even in business in the first place? What are your core values, right? Who is your targeted client? You know, how do they buy? What's your marketing strategy? What is your forecast? How are you going to market? How are you going to obtain revenue? Because for FSC First or even PSC as a conventional lender, you're risky. So how do we show you have the capability and the ability to pay back this loan if you insured need that capital?
That is so good. I heard Taji talk about having the gift, having, ideas and, trying them out on our family members, on people that are close to us, and people think, oh, this is the bomb. You are great. This is good. So how do we get started, man? FSC First is that first step that could help you with this Level Up program. As Tisa just said, creating opportunity to learn from beginning to end, not just stabbing in the dark, but learning from the consultancies that they have at FSC First and going through this Level Up program. All right, Toya Evans is a business leader and consultant and multi-unit, multi-brand franchise owner. Can you share some tips for women looking to scale their business, Toya?
Well, I can say to have a team, and that seems very generic, but what I really mean is your team may not be people that actually work with you, but it's your community, and having someone on your team that knows about finance, or I like to say that knows more than you know, right? So having someone that can give you some advice, whether that be financial, legal, commercial real estate, if you're someone like me where I need to have that all the time, access to what's going on where, what new developments might be coming up that I could put a franchise in, but that's going to be very important. And one of my brands, we lovingly call ourselves the Brown Girl Group, but it actually represents the number of women of color who own tropical smoothie franchises. The DC market happens to be probably the only one that has such a large number of people of color and then women of color that are owners, and we literally text every day about something operational. Somebody on that team knows a lot about operation. There's one woman on our team who is like a handy woman superstar. So if any piece of equipment goes down, you call her first before you call in, a repair person. There's another person on the team who is an ex-CFO. I'm a marketing person, so people call me for marketing. So I think that's really what it means, is to surround yourself with like-minded people that, understand where you're going, know how they can fit in, and then make yourself available to do the same. My uncle used to say, you can't get a lot with your fist tight. So you've got to be willing to share and put out, much like we're all doing tonight. But then also don't be afraid to ask, because I think someone already said, you may think you're going through something and it's just you, and there's not true. It's probably somebody else out there has fought that battle before and can help you fight it a little bit easier and quicker than you trying to take it on yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're just chiming in, you're just tuning in, we're talking with FSC First, their Level Up program, and we're specifically talking about celebrating women, entrepreneurship, growth, and prosperity. And I love talking to Dawn about FSC First because I think, as Kathryn says, that it's one of the best kept secrets when it comes to financial literacy and helping businesses and micro businesses, get started. And the funds that are available. We've been talking a lot, Dawn, about capital. In addition to access to capital, what other resources and support does FSC First provide to entrepreneurs?
I want to double down on what Tisa started talking about with Level Up. She touched on the fact that the program provides kind of loan packaging services to get your documents and get the correct documents together.
Yeah.
But then Taji talked about not just what to do, but how to do it. So in addition to that, Level Up deep dives, right? In addition to what Tisa talked about, we also provide one-on-one professional services matching. So if the gap that Tisa may find in your package is you haven't done tax returns in 3 years, we have to get those done. But sometimes business owners avoid doing something because now I got to think about, okay, who can I trust? Are
Right.
they good? Did they mess up the
That
business's
part.
taxes down the street? I got to talk to their references, and business owners, by the time they get there, they're like, look, I got clients and customers to take care of. And now you're and then that thing gets pushed back, right? So we match you also directly with professional services to get those specific things done. Maybe you need a bookkeeper, maybe you need an accountant, right? Maybe you need to get with Tisa and get with Live Plan and get that business plan tight, like all the parts, right? Not just all the bells and whistles. Look at my product, but how are we going to market the product?
Right.
How does that marketing flow into your assumptions? That flows into your financial statements, the full business plan from beginning to end, right? And so Level Up really deep dives into those things. Some of the curriculum that we've covered, recently is like financial management systems, key documentation, accounting systems, financial statements, and ratios, in addition to things like the loan application process. And so and Toya talked about the team, right? Part of that team is, having that accountant, that attorney, that bank, representative, having those relationships already pre-established, and Level Up can also help you get those things done as well.
I like it. And then, like you said, being around like-minded people, I think I heard Taji say, being around like-minded people and people that are going through business, understanding business like yourself. And you know what? Sometimes we get into business and we think that we automatically have to be the experts. But the truth of the matter is we have to start somewhere and we have to learn somewhere. Now, you might be an expert at what you're marketing. You might be an expert at your gifting, but that doesn't mean you're an expert at business. Right. And so FSC First helps you with that. And I like it. I love how we talked about partnering with, banking institutions like PNC, which is why we have Kathryn here. She's the Senior VP of PNC Bank, if you're just tuning in. And so you talked about, Kathryn, your partnership with FSC First, and how is this relationship, benefit and empower female entrepreneurs? You talked about history. You talked about females being on the board, and we even talked statistics earlier about those loans. But when it comes to a traditional bank like PNC and you're partnering with FSC First, share how FSC First has helped empower female entrepreneurs.
Well, first I will say that I believe it's fairly well known among most that small businesses are a key economic driver for many regions in the U.S. But when you look at Prince George's County, now FSC First serves other areas, but they were sort of birthed, if you will, in Prince George's County. But in Prince George's County, according to the Prince George's County Economic Development Corp, small businesses represent 95% of all existing businesses. That is huge.
Yeah.
I was blown away when I saw that statistic. That is huge. The other thing too is when you look at strategies to close the racial wealth gap, business ownership is one of those tools that can potentially be available to somebody who has an idea or a product or a program or something of that nature. And as was said earlier, they may have the bright idea, but not really know how to proceed forward with it as a business. So again, this is where FSC comes in. I have referred people to FSC who had a thought, and they're willing to have conversations with people to work with them to, and it takes time and diligence, and you gotta want it, but to get them through to those stage. So for me, when you're looking at business development efforts, or you're looking at small business efforts, particularly in BIPOC communities, when you look at some of the challenges that we've been faced, then I think these solutions need to be focused and targeted. And so for me, and again, with my knowledge of FSC and their programs, the strategies that FSC engages excuse me, are proven strategies that help enhance small businesses with the infrastructure. It connects them to capital. It connects them to the region's economic anchors that can address persistent wealth disparities. It can set, excuse me, it can set up, I am sorry, I don't know what's got in my throat, but it can set up the support that FSC provides can, to me, set up a new paradigm for economic development in Prince George's County. And when you look at the other statistics that have been spoken about women-owned businesses, I think this is a great place to focus because there's lots of growth opportunity in this space. And and my comments are specifically about the Level Up and Capital Matters program, which I'm happy that FSC is doing, and I think it's very timely for the times that we're in, and very timely to elevate women, particularly BIPOC women.
And that PNC help fund and support as well.
I love that. I'm going to go back to you, Dawn, just a bit, because somebody's watching and they're asking how big, I'm sure they're asking, how big does your business have to be? Where do you have to be in wanting to start your business to want to be a part of FSC First, or even the Level Up program at FSC First?
Any business at any stage, infancy till full-grown adult, can participate in the Level Up program. And for applying for a business loan, all the components of your business plan have to be put together. And if you're a startup, that's fine. You're not going to have tax returns. But if you're an existing business, you're more than a year old, you should have some kind of tax history. But that's okay. Don't let that be a deterrent if you don't have those two components, because we can get that assistance for you through Level Up. And the idea is Level Up to a loan. So you can start with Level Up and then graduate into a loan. And you'll put that work in on the front end and then be able to access financing immediately thereafter.
One of our viewers asked how we can find out more information. What you see scrolling at the bottom, fscfirst.com, is where you get started. fscfirst.com. Am I right about that, Dawn?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Tisa, as a consultant, the concept of the glass ceiling is well documented in corporate settings, but how does it manifest into the entrepreneurial landscape, and what can be done to shatter it for women entrepreneurs?
I think the ceiling for entrepreneurs, and I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I've been in business for 16 years. I have a construction company, a consulting business, and I'm a real estate developer myself. So the biggest ceiling is having capital, access to capital. I think that's the biggest issue, because for all small businesses, cash flow and payroll, that's what keeps us up at night, right? Having that cash flowing as we need it and being able to pay the people that help us get the job done. So having access to capital has always been a barrier. And more so, I think, as a woman, because as a woman, wearing so many hats. We're trying to navigate through so much. We don't necessarily have the same confidence as our male counterparts to believe in that we have what we need in order to be successful. So I think that, one, as women, we have to build up our confidence to know that we can stand toe to toe to any peer, regardless of sex. And then we also have to recognize that if we need help, tap into programs like Level Up, right? And get the support that you need. It is no cost to the participants. And that's a phenomenal thing. I saw Taji kind of like, yep, that part. But it's no cost to the participants. So it's a free resource. And the people and the consultants that you have access to, these are experts in their fields. So you're getting CPAs, right? You're not just getting someone that just came out of school and doing an internship. I mean, these are full-blown professionals that you have access to during the Level Up program. And so being able to tap into that and to level up your business so that you can level up to gain access to capital, it would be a game changer as a woman.
I love that. So Taji, you talked about, already some challenges and obstacles from the beginning and getting started. So what advice or insight would you share with other women-owned businesses? I love that you actually are part of the Level Up program, so you can speak directly to that. So what advice and insight would you have to share with other women-owned businesses?
So yes, so I would, some of the advice that I would give, and I think it's going to touch back to a couple of the things that Tisa was saying also. Number one, I think that you have to understand the beauty of divine timing and patience. Understanding that, just because you have just because you have the idea and you have it on you, that, you have the grit, that it's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen overnight, and that it takes time in order to, learn, in order to build, and in order to create these relationships and, grow your business from one step to the next step. And it's not going to happen overnight. And a lot of times we jump in business, and then when it doesn't happen like we want it to happen right away, then we're ready to throw in the towel, or we're ready to kind of give up and, say that's it. And the thing is, it's if you don't have, this is my number 2, if you don't have a higher purpose, if you don't have a purpose that's bigger than yourself, then a lot of times it's easy to just kind of let it go and okay, I'm done with this. And one of the things I pride myself on is understanding that this business is not just about me. Me winning in this arena is not just about me, but there's so many people that will be connected to the blessing. And that is why it's going to be so important for me to keep going. And so when I keep that in the forefront, that's how I'm able to keep going, even when it gets hard, even when it gets frustrating, even when it gets scary. And then my number 3, and this is to what Ms. Tisa was saying, we have to humble ourselves. We have to humble ourselves and understand that when you need help, go get help. Be willing to go find the help and be able to sit under somebody who has been, who's been in your position, and be willing to say, hey, can you help me? And this is where I am. And that's one of the things that I really, really loved about FSC, because my thing was, when I came, I'm this is really free. Tisa just said it, this is free. I'm getting all of this free information from real professionals, and it's free. Because the thing is, as a small business owner, when you come onto the scene, you don't have time for nobody to be telling you could pay for this course, because baby, I don't got it. I don't have to pay for it. Okay? I'm still trying to, figure it out. And so I'm trying to save, and I'm trying to figure out how to keep money, not just spend money. And so one of the things about FSC, being able to be in this program and be in a free program and be around professionals to learn and grow, this is just a clear, unthinkable situation that you will want to jump into as a business owner. So if you are a small business owner, if you are nervous, if you are scared, if you think nobody is sharing your stories, then 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you that we are. You jump into the program, you will really benefit from it. So Hopefully
That's
that helps
awesome.
somebody.
No, you said a mouthful, because I think the thing that keeps us, Dawn, from even wanting to be a part or missing out on this information is our pride. Is, oh, I don't want anybody to know my business, or being embarrassed about where you are financially, but you got to get started somewhere, which is why, and then you also talked about how, we're in the age of the TikTok users who have, think they have this overnight success, but you might have it, but can you maintain it, right? Can you maintain it? And what does it take to maintain these overnight businesses that's being created on social media, which throws me right at Toya. Toya, the concept of imposter syndrome is prevalent among women entrepreneurs. How can we empower women to overcome self-doubt and embrace their leadership potential?
I think educating yourself first and foremost is important. So you know what you know, but more importantly, you know what you don't know and where you need to get it. And then be persistent. When we met Dawn, gosh, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I was fresh reeling from a divorce, all kind of drama associated with that. But my daughters and I, we had high paying jobs, but we didn't know anything about franchising. And before we got to Dawn and the FSC First team, we probably had at least 7 or 8 banks say no. I had one bank to say, I don't know why you would want to do a smoothie shop. This is never going to work.
Wow.
Another guy said, you'll be lucky if you have positive cash flow. And these were bankers talking to us. And so you can think about, if you've got a business idea or something and someone is coming at you with that type of negativity, and yet they're supposed to be a resource for you, how it would be so easy for you to just say, forget it and give up. My daughters know we generally have a saying that even when they were growing up, we don't have time for pity parties. So after about that 6th or 7th one, I sat in my car and I was like, okay, I got to do something different. I went back in my office, closed the door. Luckily, I had one of those computers like this, so they couldn't see what I was doing. And I just started researching, and I found FSC First and had a call with them and said, okay, well, 1 no, 2 no, 5 no, 6 no's. I'm still doing this. And working with FSC First, they were able to put financing together. And I always like to tell that story, because if I would have just given up, talked myself out of it, let all that self-doubt come in, maybe I'm not good enough. I'm like, what are you talking about? I run multi-million-dollar businesses for other people. Why can't I do it for myself? And yet I've got this banker in my ear saying, that's a terrible idea. It's never going to be worth anything. Then I would have just stopped. And so I didn't stop. And through FSC First, we got the first one. Now we have 6 locations of that brand. We have 3 locations of another one, with 2 more coming on. And we just introduced another new franchise that just opened last Friday. So that's 10 locations. But if I would have stopped at no, I would still be working. And so that imposter syndrome, like, don't know who you are, know what you're doing, know whose you are, and educate yourself, and just keep moving. You can't let one person, or as my grandma would say, one monkey don't stop the show. So if one resource, is somebody out there that's gonna, hear you and feel you. And when you have your stuff tight, like Dawn and Tisa are suggesting, somebody's gonna hear you and say, yeah, I believe in you. You've got your business plan looks great. Your projections are good. And I'll take a chance, because all you need is one. So Dawn was my one. That's that shout out to her. She was my one. And without her, there would be no other 9. So don't let people talk you out of it. It's the best advice I can give anybody.
That is so, so good. And I'm throwing it right back at Dawn, because that's a great springboard. As a female CEO, Dawn, what is one piece of advice that you would give to another woman who is still finding her way in a leadership role or as a business owner?
As a leadership role or business owner, or both, cultivate your confidence, right, in your ability and your value. I'll remember, and sometimes, in leadership roles, most of the times, you're a business owner, you're not going to walk away from your business in most cases. But sometimes business owners are still have another job when they begin their business. And I'll never forget African-American woman director at a major institution, financial institution that I worked at. She met with all the up and coming females at the institution. And she said, sometimes if people where you are doesn't understand your value, you have to leave. You have to leave and go get what you're worth. And it's an unpleasant reality sometimes, but sometimes that is the case. Now, when it comes to business owners, recognizing and embracing your unique skill set, your strength, and your perspective, because your perspective is your perspective and it also has value. So don't hesitate to, raise your hand, assert yourself, speak up in meetings and negotiations. Business owners have to negotiate all the time. And you understand where you need to be in your business. So you have to be willing to lean in and get the numbers in your business to work. And that's going to require sometimes negotiating. I know Toya and Tisa and Kia can speak to. Sometimes you got to twist some arms to get those bottom lines to work, right, Taji? To get those bottom numbers to work. Your product, a lot of times takes up a lot of that, the expense lines in those cash flow statements. And so you've got to be able to get the best possible price. Do some arm twisting. It's okay. Trust in your capabilities and don't be afraid to take some calculated risk. I told a story, was the keynote at the Bi-County Roundtable, Business Roundtable a couple of months ago. And I won't get into it now, but at one point in my life, I jumped from a building. Jumped off a building, trying to get to the top of a tractor trailer truck. I was 10. It's not important why I was doing it.
I was like, what?
The main point is I thought I could. So I did, right?
Wow.
And one day I'll tell you how that ended up. But taking the risk, taking the leap is the point.
Got you.
Right? And sometimes it's scary. Sometimes you don't understand why you're doing this. I was wondering that day, where are my parents? Why are they letting me do this? But sometimes you have to do that in business, and especially as women, because sometimes the only one believing in you is you. And having that supportive network around you of mentors, colleagues, peers, that team you heard us speak about earlier can help you get to that end game of making your business grow, making your business successful.
I love that. And we need that. And you know what the awesome thing is, I heard you say, even, as a CEO of FSC First, me being where I work in media, there's so many other things outside of this that I can do to build. Like I can be, as a keynote speaker, put that on a different business, because that's not always coming through the radio station. So therein is, me establishing a business. Like there's so many things that we offer to corporate America that will allow us to launch and build our own businesses. And so instead of, losing a lot of money and stabbing in the dark and using your own money, because oftentimes you're using your own social security numbers and all that kind and you're on your taxes. And so making sure that you can line yourself up to create a successful business. The Level Up program is there at FSC. I mean, log on to the website, fscfirst.com. and get started. Log onto the website, and I'm talking to me, fscfirst.com, and get yourself started the right way. Get a plan. Kathryn, you've been doing this for a long time. You talked about, being on the board even at FSC First, and how long you've been at PNC Bank as a woman leader in the financial service industry. Can you share some advice for women entrepreneurs who are navigating a setback or overcoming any obstacles?
Well, yes, I will say this first. Everybody has given what I think are some great tips for women. And I want to just make clear that my answer is coming from Catherine Clay, private citizen.
Gotcha.
And it may seem a little out there. But
not the SVP of PNC Bank. Is that what your disclaimer is saying?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
My advice: forget everything you've ever learned about how to succeed in business. Okay. Have I shocked everybody?
Pretty much.
Now that I've said my shocking statement, let me go back and clarify this a little bit. I don't mean the technical aspects of business ownership. I don't mean the things that FSC is teaching and that you're picking up. But it's already been talked to by some of the other comments. What I am speaking more to is what I'm going to call the emotional aspects of business ownership. So oftentimes as women, whether we're in corporate America or whether we're trying to start our business, somehow we've gotten in our head or we've been told that we got to compete like men. No, we don't. Because guess what? We aren't men. To me, women by and large are nurturers and collaborators. That's sort of intrinsic in us. Our go-to strategy, especially when facing challenges, should be to seek each other out. So that's already been said by a number of people. But that is so important that what I am seeing now are a number of women business owners in a lot of different lines of business coming together and officially forming a group of women whose sole purpose is not just to support women, not just to give advice because I've been there where you are, but as women, I think we should do more around, and that's what a lot of these groups are helping to facilitate, more around sharing resources.
Wow.
Giving, supporting each other with referrals of business, helping with ideas. This whole thing of everybody scrambling for that one slice of the pie in your field of concentration. If we collaborate together, guess what? We avail ourselves of the whole pie. And as we collaborate and we help each other, we refer business, we give business, we get business, we refer resources. Guess what? We've got access to the whole pie. So my last thing that I want to share, and I think people on this call and everyone does this, I want to share one kind of little hobby I have that's just kind of weird, but I enjoy it, is turning words into acronyms. Okay, so one thing that I think as women entrepreneurs that should happen, that we should do, is hope. Hope. Now, hope is an acronym, and I'm going to tell you what it means to me. Holding, that's the H. Onto, that's the O. Positive, that's the P. Expectations. Holding on to positive expectations. And that came to me one day because I was talking to someone who said, hope, what you hoping for? Hope is futile. And I'm thinking, well, that's not how I feel about hope.
No.
And that came to me. What are you doing? You're holding on to positive expectations. And Toya, you held on to your positive expectations. Mm-hmm. You had faith and belief in yourself. And now look where you are. So that's my little crazy nugget.
That's a good one. That's a great one. We're coming to the end of it. Can you believe it, ladies? This is so great. Thank you for sharing. But before we close out, Dawn, I want to give you final words. I want to know if there are any upcoming initiatives or programs that FSC First is planning to launch to further support businesses? And then also, how can entrepreneurs learn more about FSC First and how to get involved with the Level Up program? So first, tell us if there's upcoming initiatives, and then tell us how to get involved with the Level Up program.
Ooh, Cheryl, this is a good one. Hot off the presses. So next month, as a result of a $3 million in funding from the Prince George's County Council, Bill 62, CB 62, FSC will launch the Small Business Capital and Growth Stimulus Program. This program encompasses one loan program offering, wait for it, 0% loans with 12 months of deferred principal payments for business expansion and startups.
Wow.
It also has a partner grant program for the same purpose. There's also 2 programs specifically for tech type companies. Again, loan and grant. And there's even room in there to support small business accelerator programs. So this will be, keep your eyes on social media and subscribe to our newsletter. Loans up to $250,000 and grants are available. And so keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, and you can find out about it and subscribe to our newsletter and sign up for Level Up classes at fscfirst.com.
FSCFirst.com. Go there now, sign up on their newsletter, get all of this great information. You can't say that nobody told you, because we just did. You can't say that there are no resources in Prince George's County or the state of Maryland. Well, we just told you that there is. You can't say that there's no help. Can't tell you that you can't be educated. And as Taji said, that you need money to sign up for these programs. It's free and offer the Level Up program. My understanding, Dawn, is free, right?
Free 99.
Free 99.
Free 99. It's free. Free.
This is free for free. Right. And so you have no excuse not to get started. You have no excuse. Swallow your pride. I heard Toya say it. I heard Tisa say it. Swallow your pride. All of your no's are not the end, right? Because we've got some answers and some people who can walk you through the process. I'll give you guys, anyone, we still have a couple minutes before we close out. If anybody else has anything else to share really quickly, I'll give you that chance to do that. And then we're going to close out unless you have something else to share, Dawn. Anybody else want to give final words?
I'd just like to say I do franchising, so a little bit different from everybody else. I encourage you guys. I've been working with the IFA and Prince George's Economic Development. They're hosting classes also. Those are also free 99. We just had the first one last week, but they have some other ones coming up in next month and coming forward. So if you want to learn about franchising, how to get started, I think next month they're going to be having some brands come out and talk to you about what it takes to be a part of their franchising system. That is another resource that's right here in the county. There's over 850,000 franchises in the country, and African Americans make up about 6% of those, and women are even kind of less than that. So everywhere
Toya,
you shop.
What are your franchises again?
Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, and VO Med Spa.
Wow.
So I just wanted to put a plug in for them for the Prince George's EDC and the International Franchise Association, because this is the second year we've done it. I think, John, I missed you last week. You were. I think you opened it up, and if FSC is involved in that too.
Wonderful.
We had that last week, and they have some more coming. But there's so many resources out here that there's no reason why, if entrepreneurship is your passion, that you can't find a resource, capital, education, et cetera, to get you going. Just do it. My youngest daughter says, leap and the net will appear. She's the riskiest person of our threesome, but to a certain extent that is true. And while you leap, arm yourself with stuff to cast that net at the bottom. But that's another great program, and I love franchising, so I had to give that shout out. So thank you for that.
Gotcha.
And then Cheryl, before we go, I just wanted to say thank you to all of these amazing women that are on the call, because you guys' expertise for the younger generation of entrepreneur and, women in business is really and greatly appreciated. And I don't know if you hear it enough that we need you, and we need you guys to continue to give this information, because we are lost without you. And so I don't know if you guys hear it enough, but as a young person in business and being a baby on this call, thank you guys. Please continue to share this information with us. Every time you come across a new business owner or young business owner, please help us, because we need it. Okay. So, and then everybody else who is witnessing this live, please humble yourselves and be at the feet of the women who come before you and who know this information.
That is so good. That is so good. FSC First, the Level Up Virtual Town Hall meeting is where we're wrapping up right here. Dawn, thank you for trusting us with this platform and sharing it with our listeners. I am so grateful. Thank you to each and every one of you who are panelists, who have shared your expertise tonight, who has given us the ability to move forward. Come outside of ourselves, come outside of just the dream and make this thing a reality, and tap into all of these resources. FSCFirst.com is where you go to get all of this information. FSCFirst.com is where you go to find out more about the Level Up program, some of the other programs that Kathryn even mentioned. What was it? Money Matters. What was it? The Matters program, Dawn?
Capital Matters.
Capital Matters, which is the same money, capital Matters program, and all the other programs and incentives that's at FSC First. Thank you all. Thank you to you who have watched on all of our digital platforms. You have been, giving your comments, and we didn't get a chance to take questions because we just had so much information to share. And I pray that what we shared tonight encouraged you to move forward. Again, Kathryn Clay, Tisa Clark, Toya Evans, Taji Kelly, Dawn Medley. Thank you guys for being a part of our virtual town hall meeting tonight. Dawn, anything you have before I close out?
FSCFirst.com. Embrace the challenge and take the opportunity for growth and invest in your personal and professional development. Just do it.
Yes.
Just do it.
Thank you, ladies. It's Women's History Month. Let's make some history, entrepreneurs. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.